Yeah.
On the place, can let fire run the race. We live it at different pace, so come now we mash it up and down. On the place, can let fire run the race. We already win the race, so let them keep running.
WEFM, the clean fresh sound.
WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
All right, so time right now, SVG, it is 7:46, and it is time for our Life Today commentary. Good morning to you, Life.
Morning, Roleza, Maka. Listeners, I looked sleepy this morning. I had to go to the hospital last night with my son. So I just reached home a little while ago there. But in saying that, I would like to big up Dr. Davis. And this is the first time I ever interacted with him. Dr. Davis and nurses Barrow and McDonald. People say a lot of bad things about the hospital, but I tell you no lie, right? I know like people don't be lying about certain things, but I have never gone to the hospital and got a bad experience, to be honest. Yeah. And I've been there quite a bit. I have three children, I have been there myself too, and I can't say that I have ever gone there and had a bad experience, to be honest. I don't know if it's because of who I am and because people know me.
And your vocal.
And they might say, boy, you're a journalist. I don't know if it's that, but I go tell you like I have never really gone to the hospital. The only thing coming to a bad experience I ever really had there is
you dipping out a bit and I sure you changed something, you did something different?
Nah. I don't know what causing that. Yeah. Only bad experience I had there already is like I went to dress a wound and they didn't really have like the right stuff that they really wanted to dress the wound. But I honest. And then when I queried it, when I asked about it, they said that they basically said it wasn't a fact that they didn't have it, but it's the fact that the person who was supposed to write up the order to say these things needed didn't write up the order, so that's why they didn't have it, right?
Okay, give me 1 second, Live. Persons listening, could somebody just message on the WhatsApp to let us know if you're hearing live clearly? I'm not sure if it's just us here in studio or if it's coming through on the live as well. So somebody just message on the WhatsApp and just let us know if you're hearing him clearly. All right. Live.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. People go down get bad experiences and things, but
Okay, so I see somebody saying yes, you're hearing him clearly, or yes, he's dropping out. And I'm sure what the yes is what that is.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, yeah. So somebody's saying you're low. Live, if you could just go out and come back in for me, please.
Okay, all right.
All right, let's try again.
Hello. Everybody hearing me fine now?
You're still low. What did you do that was different?
I don't know. Let me go out and let me use my phone. Let me use my phone and see.
Okay.
Yeah.
All righty. So bear with us a moment, folks, as we get this sorted out. All right, let's see again.
Same thing.
No, same thing.
Oh,
So,
it's two different devices, so it's not my
okay. Give me a second. Let me
Mm.
talk again. Let me say it right.
Hello.
All right. That's a little better. I wonder if it. Okay, go ahead. Let me see.
Hello. One.
Hello. We here.
Nobody hear me good? Yeah. So I was saying before Roleza mash up my computer. It was Dr. Davis, nurse McDonald and Barrow. You know, the nurses, they know what they know what they're doing, right? But I think that sometimes like people probably go there and it's like according to what happened to you, that they probably don't have the resources to work with you, so people get bad experiences and things. And then you might meet one half nurse who having a bad day. You know what I mean? But overall, you know, they seem to be very overall they seem to the personnel along there, they seem to like have learned how to maneuver around the difficulties, you know, and work with what they have. So
I actually I agree with you. Well, so mommy had fractured a foot last year. So since then till now, she has to be she has been in and out of the hospital for various things. When I say in and out, it's to go and seek different things, right? She was only overnight when she had to do the surgery. And I mean, apart from the initial visit to A&E, which was, I don't know if it's because I didn't eat or whatever, but it felt extremely long, right? The way to just go in to be seen, that wait was long. But after that process happened and everything else thereafter, I mean, being there with her in terms of her being addressed and attended to and so forth, I actually didn't have anything negative to say either, you know? So, I mean, I suppose it depends. And I also don't think it's because, you know, in a sense, persons may know me in that way, but I really had to commend a lot of persons for the help that they had given to her.
Yeah.
And continuous assistance, actually. So, yeah.
Yeah. The waiting times for emergency rooms all over the world is something that people always complain about for some reason, right? Emergency rooms all over the world are problematic in relation to time. All over the world. It's not unique to St. Vincent. We are not doctors, so we might not be able to know why, because sometimes we can say, well, listen, why are they moving so slow? What are they really doing?
And in her case, she was like the fourth person, but somebody was there since morning. And I'm there like, what is going on?
Yeah, because they list them in relation to importance, right? So you might go there first, but then somebody go there, like 10 people go there, the most serious problem than you. So they list them in I think it's a color. They have colors where they list them by.
Because this triage or something?
Yeah. So they list them. Because remember, it's called is a like most of the time the other name is emergency room, accident and emergency. So you're not really supposed to even go there if you have a cold or something. You know what I mean? So yeah, all over the world is problematic times. I was looking at once I was researching emergency room times, and some of them real horrible. We just feel like okay, we had really bad down here, but some of the emergency room times in different countries really horrible. You know what I mean? But yeah, big them up, man. They walk in where they have, right? But
well, like use 1 out of 1,000 people will come back and say that, eh?
Well,
I think
well, it was.
I think if I was 1 out of 1,000 to say that, plenty people in 1,000 they telling lie. They just want to do big up the people them sometimes, you know. Occasionally I go meet a rude nurse, or a doctor who had a long day, and he seems disinterested in helping you, but it's human nature, right?
Yeah, and the thing of it is like, mommy actually didn't even want to go to hospital. I mean, there was a whole nother story. She didn't want to go to the hospital, and I think part of it had to do with, yes, mommy, I'm talking about your business. I think part of it had to do with you know, the comments that she heard coming out from people who went to the hospital. So she had a big concern, a big fear about it. But I mean, I'm supposing if she would be honest, and I think she has, and she has shown her appreciation, she would admit that she has received good service.
Yeah. If people have a look at it this way, right? Apart from the this is apart from a nurse or a doctor being rude to you or disrespectful to you, right? Because it does happen sometimes, right? It's apart from that. If you go, like you're working, say you're working with a restaurant and you go work to do your work and you ain't meet no flour and you ain't meet no sugar, it's your fault. Let's look at it that way. It's not your fault. You know what I mean? So people don't understand, like, if they go to the hospital and the hospital don't have no Panadol or no paracetamol or no plaster of Paris, it's not the nurse or the doctor fault. They're not the person responsible for buying it and making sure it's there. So that's where people, but people don't understand. People cost them, right? Because that's who they're seeing. So they're gonna cost them. And you know what I mean? And then it's just like that might just put you in a bad mood for the entire day. That somebody can come and cost you because the hospital ain't have no paracetamol. What you have to do with that, that's not really like
But
your
but even with that, I would also say that our healthcare, at least going to the hospital, in terms of what you pay for the services, I mean, it is. Honestly, I don't want to say it because it's what they say they're free, but this is that you're supposed to be racking up a bill or something afterwards, but I don't know how many persons actually go and look for this bill. But even with the pharmacy, like, so you go to the pharmacy and you get certain things free, you know, and I'm there like, really and truly.
When we want to leave, my son asked, so you're not going to pay? I said, no. I said, it's free. He said, it's free? This free? I said, yeah, it's free. He said, oh, you didn't know it was free. I said, yeah, healthcare and services is basically free. Yeah. You see, he didn't know that.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, basically free. Because like when you go to A&E, you don't pay.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, you know, in the States, they would ask if you have insurance first and that sort of thing. If you don't have insurance, you get turned away. But that's not the case here.
Yeah. Some if you get admitted, then you have a bill. If you get admitted, then they get a small bill at the end. You're supposed to go and check for it and pay it. But as usual, people don't pay it. People don't go back and check for it. People don't pay it, you know what I mean? You're only going, and then you're only going to you have a bill if you get admitted a second time and you request a private room, then they're going to say, well, they can't get a private room because they didn't pay the last bill or whatever. That's how people just end up and know the bill, but people don't really go and pay. But yeah, you know, they work with what they have. It's not really their fault that certain things might be lacking or they don't have certain things. Your attitude is you have to take responsibility for your attitude, right? And the way you act. That's the only thing they could take responsibility for. But yeah, they were good. They were good. They weren't they didn't seem to be overly walk last night. I saw quite a bit of people were there when I came initially. Some end up and left, but they weren't like, you know, they were trying their best and walking what they have. You know what I mean? So
and I think a lot of them they exhibit a lot of signs of patience, customer service, because you know it's one thing for persons, and even I know even with me, like at one point with mommy, when waiting for her to be admitted to be attended to for at A&E, you know, I showed a little bit of attitude because you know I really couldn't understand what was taking so long, but the attitude wasn't met back with attitude. You know, they just explained certain things to me and so forth, and you know it was a bit calmer, but I suppose maybe that's the thing, that they've had to go through this experience so many times, maybe not wanting to explain to persons fully why it's taking so long with certain things, you know. So yeah, I have to say hats off to many of them.
Yeah, so that's good. That's that. I saw a recent thing where the nurses were complaining of the various issues and things. You know what I mean? I asked a couple of nurses and they said, yeah, everything that was said is true. It's not there's a lie. I asked more than one person. They say, yeah, not that was said as a lie. It's not that, you know, they're trying to fight down the system, as we just say. That's not what happened. It's just that, you know, they work in an environment that they want better. So they're talking up, and it reach a point that it's very you know, frustrating to them. You know, not to say, well, they're trying to like blame anybody cause, well, there's somebody to be blamed. Who exactly to be blamed, I don't know. But as I said, it's not like if they're trying to be malicious, you know, what they're saying is true, you know. So there we have that, you know.
All right, so let's
doctors, basically.
Okay. Yeah. All right, so I have a feeling that this was okay. So we're going to take the break now, and come back, right?
Okay, all right.
All righty. So that is our first segment of today's discussion with life. And we are going to take a quick break. Time on SVG, it is 8:01 on the dot. Our time check came to us with the compliments of New Haven Funeral Home.
Death is a fact of life. Even though death is a